Oh, hi, Steve. Thanks so much for coming in. We're really thrilled to have you to join the YouTube channel. And you've got some great news at the moment.
Yes, on the weekend up in Cairns, qualified for my second World Championship in Kona, Hawaii.
That's fantastic because I know how much that means to you and to a lot of the people around you, because they train really hard and they're passionate about their triathlon, aren't they?
Yeah.
And so you've been there before, and that was a special occasion because you just lost your dad.
Yeah.
And making me a little bit emotional even saying it, so I don't want to get you into tears.
Right, yeah.
But it's a terrific event without any emotion attached. But just run us through a little bit of the emotion when you got there and how you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, that first time around when I was going to Cairns, my dad passed away only 5-6 days before the race. Before we were leaving to go to Cairns.
Cairns.
Yeah, this was the Cairns. This is when I first qualified.
Yeah, right.
And I was at a point in my life where I was really in my best shape to get a position to go to Kauai. And I thought, well, with Dad, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I should go to the race, but everybody said I should go. So I did. Went to the race. My dad wanted me to do it, and it went well. And I qualified. I got a roll down at that race.
Right. Okay.
And that was my first time, and that was my long.
Roll down means that somebody else stepped out of the.
Yeah, that's right.
The
there was I was 10th position, and there was 8 kind of qualification spots. So I needed two people in my division at the time had already spots. Yep. And which meant it would roll down to me.
Straight to you. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, which worked out really well.
Yeah, so you got to Hawaii and you, I guess at that point, it was more about completing the race, wasn't it? Than really trying to win a division or something.
No, that's right. It was definitely about completion, and it'd been my long life dream of going to Hawaii. As a kid, I was a runner, and I remember watching the race on Water Sports, and it was like triathlon was the thing. I just wanted it was on Saturdays and Water Sports, and go for the whole duration of the show, and then have commercials and ads thrown in. And I thought, well, that's what I want to do. That race I want to do.
Wow! And it took till. So how old were you when you saw it on telly, and how old when you got
I started triathlon in 1985. I think it was the first one. I was at school, right? And that was at the point in time where I made a decision that's when I wanted to do it. Yeah. So pretty much till I was 47, 48, till I actually got there.
Don't give up.
Yeah, never give up on your dream.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Just keep going.
And you have a squad on Saturday mornings that I'm sure that motivates you.
Yeah, and it's called Maddog Super Saturday. It's all levels of people come along to the weekend on Saturdays. Yep. Riding, running. And I get motivated more.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
of these guys, just seeing and Ironman and triathlon. It doesn't.
It's not age or participation.
No, there's no barrier.
That's exactly right. Yeah, if you can get in the water, and if you can jump on a bike, and
that's right.
and then have some legs for the run,
Pretty much,
always. So having legs for the run brings me back to your youth again, and. The first I had known about you a long time ago was with a fellow, Frank McCaffrey.
Yes,
Frank. Who's a very good friend of both of ours.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about Frank.
Yeah, Frank, he was a very unusual character. He was lived at Northbridge.
Irish, need we say anymore?
Yeah. But I met Frank in my athletic days, and being a junior out in the western suburbs, we didn't have a lot of... I guess my parents didn't have money. We didn't have shoes, like running shoes. And Frank came along and with a couple of other fellows and gave us a helping hand, basically with the likes of the original Tally's, the running shop. Yep. And we were able to get shoes and running singlets. He was giving to us. Frank
would just love to sponsor young
that's
athletes, right. And not only that, he would take you to runs, wouldn't
he? Yeah, I remember this one particular time he took 4 of us. There was 2 Central Coast local guys and myself and my best mate Peter Costello. Yeah. We went on this trip to the Gold Coast with Frank,
I think we've got a photo of that in the
yeah,
front shot.
there's a photo here, and he'd throw us out of the van at different towns and say, right, you got to run to the next town.
Yeah.
And some of these towns were 10, 12k apart.
I mean, what an amazing experience for a young person, and Frank just really knew how to build character and really show you the joy of life and running, didn't he?
And he had all these great stories of all the different marathons around the world that he'd done, and at that point in time too, there was another those lifelong goals of a Honolulu marathon, New York marathon, London marathon, like all these different marathons that he used to talk about all the time.
Which he was one of the early Australians that actually went over and participated in those, which was it was iconic at the time, and very blessed to have known him. And talking about marathons, so you've done a few of those, I imagine, in a lead up to Ironman. Was that anything?
Well, I've only really done one marathon, straight marathon, and it's not that much faster than my Ironman marathon.
Okay, because it's a question I often wonder. Is that something that people should think about trying to do before they tackle an Ironman?
I don't think so. I don't think it's necessary. It's probably good to know that you can cover the distance for the marathon.
Sure, yeah. Because having been a marathon runner, often I think it may have stopped me wanting to do an Ironman.
Yeah, I think so. And it took me, I think I'd had 6-7 Ironmans under my belt before I did my first marathon standalone.
Right, okay. And we were talking about that too. You've done how many? 12
Ironmans? 12 Ironmans now.
So, the fastest was at Bustleton?
Yeah, 9:53.
9:53 is a very sharp performance. So, how did the splits go on that?
I think I swam 1:04 by about 5:13 and a 3:30 marathon. I was 10 seconds shy of breaking the 3:30 barrier on that one.
Oh wow!
That.
Yeah,
that was my PB back then when I did that for the marathon.
And that's a really handy time in terms of, I suppose, not being a professional. Because at that time you would have been holding down a job as well.
Yeah, and family. I've got 3 young kids.
And a supportive wife.
Yes, very supportive. Triathlon. Yeah, definitely.
Give a shout out to her. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Ange.
And so what sort of time commitment do you put into your training if you're looking for a goal like that?
I think it's about, it'll build between 14 hours and 22 hours a week. And it's a consistency. You've got to be consistent with the Ironman. It needs to be trained. It's not hard training. It's not, there's no hammer sessions. It's just real consistent.
When you say that, I remember one day you came into the shop and you'd done something like, was it 4400s?
Yeah. Yeah, 16.
That was a Maddog session.
Yeah. And that's the difference between the early days and how I'm racing now. I've changed things around. I took the intensity out, stripped it away, and more to a basic endurance training style.
Right.
And now I'm faster now than I was 20 years ago. It's been 20 years between the last Ironman and my first Ironman.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a really nice lengthy career, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm running faster now than I ever have. And recently with the 2 Ironmans I put back to back 5 weeks apart. Yeah. I ran a 3:28 and a 3:30 just on the weekend.
Congratulations. That's awesome. And so you just said 5 weeks apart. How did you manage that? That's
that was
how old did you say you were? 25?
Yeah, I wish, yeah. Just about to hit 50.
Yeah, wow.
So
that's going to be
around the corner. And I came up to the new age group, to the 50s.
Yeah. So did you relax during that 5 weeks, or did you?
Well, yeah. The first I did after the first race. I took a little bit out of me, and I thought, well, I sort of felt fresh after that first 2 weeks, and I thought, well, I was going to Cairns. I was going to be up there, and I thought, well, there's an opportunity here to race, and I thought I'd give it a go.
Yep. No, you did a pretty good go at it.
Yeah, I did make a decision in the race to...
and the conditions were pretty horrible.
Yeah, they were terrible. The swim was choppy. There was a headwind the whole way back from Port Douglas, which is about 75 kilometres back on the second lap. And it was...
What do you think when you've got that condition that you're confronted with? Because I know, in our minds, we kind of prepare for a bad day, but you hope it's going to be sunny and no wind
Yeah.
or whatever. But you know, what's the real feeling when you get out there and, like you say, choppy water, massive winds?
Yeah, and you're making the decisions on the fly.
Mm.
I expected to go to Cairns, and it's the tropics. The weather forecast normally is perfect up there.
Warm.
And you get up there and it's 21 degrees.
Yeah.
It's never been like that before on the Friday. It's raining and then on the race day it turned out okay, the sun was out, but the water you could see the chop.
Yeah.
And the tailwind at first on the bike. So I made a decision then. I knew a lot of guys were going to go hard on the bike.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I've got the run in me in this age group to come back at them. So I made a decision to give away about 10 minutes in the bike.
Yeah.
And ride a little bit slower, and that paid off.
Yeah.
Coming to the run.
And that's your experience paying off there,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because you've been at it for so many years and you've done so much over, helping other people, that it's sort of an automatic decision in some ways,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
right. Yeah, it is.
They think when we get older that we might get past it, but you've got all this special toolage in your...
Yeah. Well, it's a long day.
Yeah,
Like we're talking about an Ironman from the pros going sub 8 hours to the back end of 17 hours at the cutoff.
Is there a
time.
cutoff?
Yeah,
17
17 hours.
Okay. So, Steve, I know you have a lot of fun when you train and when you race as well, and that helps keep you excited about the sport. So, do you have any superstitions or little routines or rituals that help you get your head focused?
I think not really in a superstition, but there is one thing as a triathlete, and it's about the sticker allocation on our bikes.
Is that the number or the actual way that you put it on?
Yeah, the number.
Yeah.
You have a number that is stick on your bike, and the idea, if you don't get that right...
Is that one they have to wrap around the seat post?
Yeah. You can do that, but
Yeah.
now these days we cut them up and we make them picture perfect and square. And I remember Kona, the first Kona went to, and you get this really nice one for your bike, and my race number was 1000. And I put it on and I wasn't happy with the placement, and when I tried to re-peel it off to re-stick it, I stretched it, and today it's still sitting there, and it plays on my mind all the time. And even in the race I'm thinking about this number because it meant so much.
That might be a good thing, is take your mind off the pain.
And I've still got the bike, and I won't sell it because of the number.
Yeah.
Because I don't want...
What if you get number 69?
Oh, that would be like a dream.
And
like
no, but then it might be 96.
Yeah,
what
well,
if you put it on if you had your helmet on upside down?
Yeah, well, some people do that.
Yeah.
Some people put them upside down.
That would be funny. No, I always look at the way that people put their stickers on, so I think you're right to be worried about that. I'd judge you by that.
Yeah, that's definitely one.
So no, he's not a good triathlete. His number's not on perfect.
Yeah,
I don't. Right. Yeah, but so let's have a think about some of the actual races that you've been in. Did you have any major catastrophes like flat tires or times when you really you had to get your head around a difficult situation and keep going?
Yeah, I think I can go right back into my early days of triathlon, and it was my first ever triathlon.
Okay.
Well, it was my second triathlon because the first one I did was in '85, and that was a team event.
Okay.
But the second one, as I was in year 10, I think at school, and it was an Nepean triathlon, which is the oldest triathlon in Australia.
Yeah, love that
And
race.
yeah, and I just got this new bike. I was working at McDonald's to save up for it, and I think it was the second best bike in the bike shop that I picked and had lay-byed it. Anyway, I got to the race, and within the first 5 kilometres, the seat was rattling. And I had to stop, and virtually when I stopped, the seat came off in my hand.
Oh no!
So I wiggled it up. I was able to do it up just a nut, like back in the nuts.
So it kept slipping down?
Yeah. No, it wasn't a seat post, it was a seat.
Oh, the seat.
So yeah, it was like doing this, and it came off.
Oh.
And I managed to put it back on, and every 5 kilometres, and virtually I had to stand up and ride. So this is a 40-kilometre bike ride over hills, and every 5 kilometres stopping on the side of the road, doing the seat up. So I've good memories of that.
You didn't win your age category that day.
No, but I had a good run off the bike for
Yeah.
some reason. Back in those days it was 14k.
You're
And I
probably
think
so
I ran
cranky.
a 55-minute 14k
Oh,
run off the bike, and it was cross country too.
Yeah, wow. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that Nepean, I had a few flat tires out there that I remember it was very awkward.
Yeah.
But so the Ironman though, I guess one of the things, it's a long race and you've got time to get over things, haven't you? So,
Yeah, you can recover really well. If things aren't going right for it, even with flat tires these days, flat tires can be changed within 5 minutes. So it's not the end of the day. It's a long day, and you just got to go through it and get your head back around
and be prepared for it, haven't you?
Yeah, and you got to be prepared mentally. You got to be prepared. Yeah, and we can practice in training because we get flat tires in training, and we can cope with that.
Yeah,
it's another good thing to work out.
And there's a great camaraderie with the training when you're doing the Maddog squad, and I just have this vision of a few naked butts. There was a bit of a time there. There's a few beers on the sideline when you're cheering. I think you were cheering people on that year, and you had a little celebration. What was that about?
No, that was I think 2013. That one, but that was Port Macquarie with a mate of mine who did my first Ironman with Mark Firth.
Yep, and he's a bit of a character.
Yes, that was. And not only racing, it's being a supporter of the triathlon and Ironman. It's a tough gig. Like those days of supporting are long days.
Yeah,
you're out there from pretty much 5 o'clock right through to the cut-off time at after midnight.
Yeah, and it's very it's amazing, and I've got a lot of respect for how your group get out and support each other on that, because it's not just about doing it for yourself. It's all out there doing it with your fellow mates or your training partners. So congratulations on that, because I think a lot of people, your numbers speak for the success of that.
Yeah, and I think that's why I've done so many Ironman races. Maybe 5 or 4 have been for myself, but the rest of them have been for other people. I think when the group and a lot of people get on a race and they sign up, and I want to be a part of the experience as well, and to go on the journey with the first timers. Yeah, because we get a lot of first timers coming through. I remember when I started Maddog Super Saturday. There was no one had hardly done triathlon or Ironman in the club, like CC Tri. Yeah. And today,
so that's Central Coast Triathlon. We'll get back and talk about that in a minute.
And to date, there's been about 70 people come through the ranks and have got an Ironman.
At Port Macquarie, there was about 50. Wasn't there?
Yeah, we had the highest. We won the club championship for the biggest club
participation. And that's something that we need to commend the local Central Coast Triathlon Club, because you're a huge part of that. You may not be on the committee, I'm not sure, but but you're probably an honorary member. For the amount of time that you put in. But they have a great venue, don't they, where they train?
Up at Summerland Point. Yeah, it's a really nice little course up there. Challenging bike ride and nice cross country run.
Yep, and that runs a duathlon series during the winter and the triathlon during the summer. Yeah. But there's a few people that support that all year round. It's run by volunteers, and once again, hopefully the club has they've got the interest for people to come out and support and do their racing as well.
Yeah, the club has grown over the years since I've been a member. I think I joined coming from Penrith. I joined in about 2008.
I think you were still a little bit. You stayed with Penrith for a while before you moved over.
Yeah, I still race with Penrith Triathlon.
But then you saw the light.
Yeah, the colours. I kept the colours, yes, and and changed back over to CC Tri.
Yeah. So we've just had a running race that's been on the coast, the Beta Bay Beta Breakers. Have you run in that race? Over the years?
Yes, I've done a few Beta Bays and the original ones from the City to Surf, and the old ones that went from Terrigal to Gosford.
Terrigal to Gosford.
Yeah, and Gosford back to Terrigal.
Surf to City and City to Surf.
Yeah, they're the ones. Yeah.
Oh,
as a youngster, I think I was 16, 15 running around in those early days.
So, other than the triathlon in the longer Ironman that you're obviously successful in, what would you say your best events have been?
Probably as a junior, I was pretty handy at cross country, and I was a middle distance runner on the track. I think I had a PB of 2:01 at 800.
That's very handy.
And it was and I remember we used to race Interclub down at ES Marks every Saturday.
So did you run for Western Suburbs?
I was with Nepean.
Nepean. Oh, that's even more west than Western Suburbs.
Yeah.
No, the old 80s, 90s
Yeah,
for the track?
Kevin Stone was our coach back then.
Yep.
Used to run with train with the likes of Wayne Larden.
Okay,
I'll
Wayne's
say
done
g'day
very
Wayne,
well.
if you're watching this. Good old Lardo.
And do you think it's been a big growing part of you to be involved in those groups over the years?
Yeah, definitely. It's been my life, pretty well. Yeah, all my life as a running group and evolving from different groups that I've trained with over the years, from Penrith to the coast to my junior days on the track.
Well, we certainly appreciate having you here and really putting so much energy into the sport all the way around, from the swim to the cycle to the run, and then obviously as the triathlon. I call it 4 sports.
Yeah,
because it really is.
It is, yeah, and it's kept me young. I'm nearly 50.
Yep.
And I think it's definitely what's kept me my youthful side.
And there's no question about that youthful side.
Yeah.
Because if you're out there trying to keep up, there's a lot of young people trying to keep up with you.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to keep up with you, and I don't want to be beaten. I'm always chasing these young guys, and they're getting faster and faster. And I think, well, I've got to get faster and faster.
That you've had, yeah.
That's right. I think showing these guys the ropes too much.
Yeah. So, just as a bit of a cheerio, what would be some thoughts that you could put out there for people that might be thinking about joining in with the triathlon, maybe not starting off with the Ironman, but how would you recommend people get involved?
Oh, definitely. Firstly, look up a local running club or a triathlon club, because especially the triathlon clubs, they cater for distances. They start down. We've even got try these days, where you can just come along and try a bike. And some of the clubs, like we Sushi Drive, we've got loan bikes that people can just have a go on the day. And usually these races, that first race is a free entry.
Yep.
And they can really just come along and see if they like the sport.
So what about, I guess some people would be nervous about getting in the swim more than anything else.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you've got for that?
Oh, well, just start with the shorter races, but there's water support and safety, and all races.
Yep.
So, and they don't have to put their hand up. But
what's the shortest swim that you think would be on offer for someone?
200 meters.
200.
I think,
okay.
yeah. So I think a try is
4 laps of a pool.
About 4 laps of a pool. So anybody could, if they wanted to see how they can go, they go down to the local pool and see if they could swim.
And you can do it on any sort of a bike, can't you?
Yeah. People do mountain bikes, just normal running shoes.
Yep. And then obviously the run you can walk.
Yeah. There's plenty of walking in Ironman.
Yeah.
You see plenty of that.
Yeah. So well, I think that it'd be a nice thing for people not to be scared of the sport, and I think they see someone like yourself and how accomplished that you are, or not think that they can't get there.
Yeah.
So start small and
for sure.
And just see if you can enjoy it and then pursue it.
Yeah, and triathlon and running, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't discriminate.
Yep.
It's just something for everyone in this sport.
So I noticed that you're wearing your Hoka 11 gear, Steve.
Yes.
And very proudly.
Yes.
So do you want to give a shout out to Hoka for a little bit of support they've been giving you?
Yeah, Hoka have been really good to me. In the 8 years that pretty much I found Hoka, and since then I've been wearing it, man. They've made a massive difference to my running.
In the recovery.
The racing, new PBs. I seem to be every race I've been to, like lately, it seems to be coming up with a new PB.
I know early on that you seemed to get onto the PB once you started wearing those shoes, and that's really great to have them enter the market to support the not so much the older runners, but just a recovery of any age runner, isn't it? Yeah,
they're pretty well. And those older runners, especially, we tend to have sore knees, hips, and that's where the difference is. And in the triathlon level, coming off the bike, our legs are pretty beat up. And
before you start.
Yeah, before we start the run. And I noticed a really big difference in that.
Yeah, and they've just taken over sponsorship of a lot of the Ironman events.
Yeah, they're a major sponsor now for.
I think there's a few more people that have found them, not just you.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it's growing very fast.
Yeah. Well, listen, all the best with the upcoming Kona. Obviously,
Thank you.
make sure you take it easy up until then
Yep.
because you've had a tough year today.
Yeah.
So we'll love to watch that race and see how you go. But it's sounding to me like it's more that you're just going to be happy to be there and
Yeah.
take whatever comes.
And just look at that. Yeah. Just want to finish, and you always got a little bit of a time now. I've got a time down. The first one was about completion, but
Yep.
now I've got a time at Kona. It's in the back of my mind, so I'd definitely like to give it a nudge. But but first step is to finish, and that's always my first goal when I go to a race, regardless of the race. I finish first.
Finish it and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, all the best, Steve, and once again, thanks for coming on the channel with us. So,
cheers.
if you could,
Thanks for having me.
If you could subscribe, hit the like button out there. There'll be plenty more interviews to come.
Cheers. Thank
Cheers.
you.